All right, guys. We're gonna go into mini lesson number 2 here about comparing and contrasting. When we read the story of the day the Rowletts got their moxie back, we're gonna think about how the characters are alike and how they're different. That's what compare and contrast means. Compare means alike, looking for similarities. Contrasting means different, looking for the things that are different about them. We're gonna look at the characters from their traits, what kind of people they are, their actions, how they behave, what they do, and their responses to events, how they react to the things that are happening around them. All right. It all sheds light on what kind of people they are. We're going to compare and contrast our characters so that way we have a better understanding of how their personalities and actions affect the events in the story or how they're changed by the events. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into this. The first thing we're going to notice is our chart. Our chart is very helpful for tracking the clues from the text. And we're going to focus on 4 characters: the mother, the father, and the 2 sisters, Ruth and Shirley. And we're going to look at how one event in the center of them and how they react to that event differently or similarly. So, this part over here in the story says Dad stayed where he was, sullen and spent. Any jobs in the paper? Mom asked, her voice rich with sympathy. Dad shook his head no. He had worked as an artist in the theater for years, but most productions were still strapped for cash. Dad sketched posters for shows that did get the green light just to keep his skills sharp. Even he even designed posters for Rollett's Follies with Ruth and me depicted in watercolor costumes. For dinner, Mom served a baked loaf of whatever ingredients she had that worked well together. From the reddish color, I could assume that she had snuck in beets. I guarantee you'll like these beets, she said, reading my frown. It's beet loaf. The meatless meatloaf, she sang as she served up slices. Ruth fidgeted in her seat, still excited about the talent show. Though calm on the outside, inside I was all a twitter too. All right, so if we're gonna take some parts of this passage, let's focus on the main event. Well, what's happening in the story? They're having dinner. So dinner is happening at the Rowletts' house, or apartment, I should say. And what do we see happening? Well, let's see what Dad's doing first off. The father is staying in his seat. He looks sullen and spent. Sullen just means kind of somber, serious, and sad. Spent could mean tired or exhausted, just worn out. And he's shaking his head no. All right. So obviously, those details are really big clues for Dad's reaction to the dinner. All right, let's take a look here at Mom next. A little bit more chipper, you would say, right? A little more positive. She's singing. She's trying, it seems to make the best of things, trying to keep a positive attitude. Can you see the difference between our 2 characters so far, Mom and Dad? Very different. All right, let's take a look here and focus on Ruth next. She's fidgeting in her seat, still excited about the talent show. All right, so we see where her head is at. All right, she's excited. She's got this daydream going on in her head of this talent show she can't get out of her mind. And then we see Shirley, the narrator, says, though calm on the outside, inside I was also a Twitter too. And the word of Twitter could mean excited also. You see the context clue, too. Well, that's comparing it to her sister, Ruth. So if the word to there could be a clue to say she must be excited too, but on the outside, she's quiet, where Ruth is fidgety. So there is a contrast and a comparison, something different about the 2 girls, and yet they have something in common. All right. So that's how we break down comparing and contrasting characters with one central event, that how they react to it. All right. So this part here says most everyone in line was bundled up against the cold. Many of us had to rely on 2 or 3 threadbare layers. So this is the part where they're in line. And that would be the event, standing in line. Okay. But what I want you to do is think about who are the characters involved and how are they reacting in this event differently. That shows their personality, it shows what they're thinking or how they're feeling, and try to analyze all the main characters in this part of the story.